Hebrews, we can't listen to these wicked dudes. We can't listen to these wicked dudes just trying to push that Egyptian ideology and that Egyptian heritage. The Egyptians didn't believe in the Creator. And I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this. Alright, check this out, Hebrews. These dudes made you wicked. Made you wicked. Young Pharaoh said it. They having a good time exploiting the people that don't know the history, that don't read the Tanakh, don't trust in the Creator. See, these dudes merged into the Egyptian system, and the Egyptians is what destroyed us in our last days. I done proved this in countless videos. This is how you know we the Hebrew Israelites. But these dudes is major wicked. This toy sounding dude, you know what I'm saying? Man, these dudes ain't nothing but con artists. Both of them con artists. And they playing on our ignorance. And they playing on us being sleep. You know what I'm saying? They playing on the ones to sleep, and that's going to be the majority of us. But check this out, Hebrews. Bring a little clarity to them. So when somebody come with that Egyptian stuff, you can put them in their place instantly. Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. Alright, check this out. Old wicked Pharaoh. You know, we was in bondage in Egypt, and let me clear something off the top, because you know this is how a lot of Hebrews being made a fool out of. Man, a lot of Hebrews are being made a fool out of when they say, oh, we was in Egypt and we built the pyramids. We build the pyramids because you associate the pyramids with the bricks. Well, let me tell you, when we was in Egypt, we made the bricks. You know, Egypt had brick houses. This is where all the brick houses gonna come from. You know, these people that come from Europe, they ain't know nothing, because the Greeks got their culture from the Egyptians. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, everything that the Greeks did, they basically learned from the people in Africa. You see what I'm saying? But the Egyptians had brick houses. I mean, the Egyptians had brick houses. You know what I'm saying? They had brick houses. That's the foundation for one. This might not just been as old as the original ones, but this is, you know, they had brick houses. You know, the Egyptians had brick houses. Man, they had brick houses, and they had houses similar to what they got today, but they are a little different, you know, because the houses today got a little Spanish influence to them. But the Egyptians had brick houses. You know what I'm saying? They had brick houses, and we had to supply the bricks. That's like in the biblical days, not only did we have to supply the bricks, but we made the Egyptian products that they traded other nations with. You know, the Egyptians had some cheap labor and some free labor when they told us, you know, that we couldn't leave and worship the Creator. But the Egyptians traded with their kinfolks, the Amorites in Mesopotamia, who controlled Babylon. You see what I'm saying? The Amorites controlled the Babylon, and the Amorites controlled the whole Mesopotamia area. And they got recorded documents right now today of how Egypt and Babylon did trade. And not only that, the Egyptians and the Babylonian had a correspondence just before our exodus from Egypt. Just before our exodus from Egypt, Egypt and Babylon used to correspond with each other. So, you know, we don't know if they was watching us, if they was keeping their eye on us, because they knew, you know, the Egyptians and the Babylonians didn't worship the Creator. You know, they worship idols and images. You know, they had lost their way, especially the Amorites. I'll show you how they had the covenant at one time. You know, they had the covenant before us Hebrews was even thought of, you know, around 2400 BC. You know, the Amorite culture existed. And the Amorite culture existed 2400 BC. You know, Canaanite direct control over Babylon 2200 BC. We know Prophet Abraham that come around to about 1800 BC. Somewhere 19 or somewhere up in that time. So, you know, it was a culture full in swing already for almost going all the way back to Noah's son days. So about a couple of thousand years, you know, was a culture in swing already. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood, Egyptian religion killer. Shalom to the Hebrews. You know, somebody got to bring some clarity to the history, and you ain't gonna get it from them Hebrews that's using Jewish history trying to pass it off as Hebrew Israelite history, and them gonna be the brothers in them camps. You know what I'm saying? And you know who you are. All right, check this out, Hebrews. The Egyptians made brick houses. They made brick houses, so we had to make the bricks. So then if you read Exodus 5, this is a little bit into the story. You know, everybody should be familiar how our father Jacob come to Egypt, you know, after Joseph's sin for him and so forth, and how the Egyptians, you know, locked down on us. They didn't want us to dip. You know, we had become numerous, and this is mostly gonna be the East Africans. You know, it's two kind of Egyptians that rule Egypt. You have the Egyptians on the left side of the Nile. That's the Nubian, Ethiopian like stock, and then you have the Egyptians from the Sahara on the west side of the Nile. They gonna be somewhat cool, and you know what I'm saying, even though they was all dirty and low down. You know what I'm saying? When you sum up all their history, they was all dirty and low down, and they all worship idols and images and animals and so forth. But anyway, when we was in Egypt making those bricks and bricks and sails and everything, you know, let me show you this too. In the book of Ezekiel, if you go to Ezekiel chapter 27, Ezekiel chapter 27, that's going to be Ezekiel chapter 27, I think, verse maybe 7 and 9, but it's in here when I get there. Shalom to the Hebrews. All right. If you go to Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 7, you will see it says, fine linen with broided work from Egypt was that which thou spreadest forth to be thy sail. Blue and purple from the isles of Elisha was that which covered thee. You know, so the Egyptians made sails, they made shoes, they had horses. You know, Solomon built a house for the for Pharaoh's daughter, and Solomon had horses and all kind of stuff. And we was told up on Exodus from Egypt to leave them alone and not to bother them. See, basically, this is what we not understanding. We thinking that the covenant that we had was everybody had it and we was just the only one worshiping the Creator at that time. No, what the Creator gave us was a completely, entirely new culture. A new culture that was different from that Amorite Egyptian culture, from that Egyptian, Babylonian, Mesopotamian culture that exists. You know, we was getting something new, and that's why the Creator had said that we was his firstborn. You know, going back to Exodus 5 showed that we was making some bricks. All right. Also, you can see this right here. This be Exodus chapter 4, verse 22. You know, and Moses said, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, this said the Elohim Yah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. You see what I'm saying? So we's the Creator's firstborn. You know what I'm saying? We his first to have the covenant that was to create a new culture that supposed to put the lights out, the animal worship and the idol worship. You know, making images and saying, oh, this God, and God can be expressed through this image. You see what I'm saying? We was supposed to stop all that, and we didn't. You know what I'm saying? We was tricked out of our heritage. But if you look at Exodus 5, this show you that Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, and it's going to also show you that we made the bricks for their brick houses. And afterward, this is Exodus 5. And after Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, this said the Elohim Yah of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, who is this Elohim that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? See, he ain't believe in the Creator. I know not the Elohim, neither will I let Israel go. So that showed that Pharaoh didn't know nothing about the Creator. And this gonna be that East African Nubian stock that had come on after the Mishwish Pharaoh and Joseph days, passed away, and then the upper Egyptians from Upper Egypt took control of Lower Egypt too. Both sides would unite each other at different times and stuff, but mostly the kingdom was held in the people from Upper uh, uh, Lower Egypt's hand, because they was mostly from the Sahara. All right, but you see, Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, and we, Israel, we the Creator's firstborn. You see what I'm saying? And that culture that the Creator gave Moses was supposed to be an entirely new culture that would have stopped the idol worship, or at least have a presence of the Creator here on earth, his true worship. And we still gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? We still gonna do that, because after what we done learned in this captivity, ain't nobody gonna be able to trick us, and them suckers ain't gonna be able to come putting that Egyptian stuff on us. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody gonna know, and they gonna be able to show in the Tanakh or in the Torah that Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That's right there. And Pharaoh said, "Who is the Elohim that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Elohim, neither will I let Israel go." And they said, "The Yah of the Hebrews had met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto the Elohim our Yah, lest he fall upon us." You know what I'm saying? We had to go where we could see the folks gonna sneak up on us and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then that's Mount Sinai going that way into the promised land. So, Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, and Moses saying, "Let Israel go worship the God of the Hebrews," gonna be that same Creator that Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham worship. And they were surrounded by Canaanite culture, the people that didn't believe in the Creator. So, they was being faithful to the end, even in this bondage, you know what I'm saying, with Pharaoh, because we didn't believe like the Egyptians believed, as shown. You know what I'm saying? We probably did a little point up to Moses come back with the what's the name, because Manasseh and Ephraim gonna be influenced by their granddaddy, the priest of On. And I'm gonna show how Pharaoh was so wicked, and that he gave Joseph Asenath. Asenath gonna be the priest of On daughter, and the priest of On gonna be teaching Ephraim that Egyptian worship, as can be seen in his descendants Jeroboam, who fled to Egypt when Solomon was after him. You see what I'm saying? And then he come out with 2 golden calves. I pray I can get all that in. All right, and then I'm going to show you where the Jews come from too. But this the bricks that we made. And also showing that Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land are many, and you must make them rest from their burden. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want us to be resting while Moses in there talking, you know what I'm saying, negotiating, trying to get us up out of there. And Pharaoh commanded the taskmasters the same day, the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, "Ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick, and therefore let them go and gather straw for themselves." You see what I'm saying? Whereas the straws and stuff that was furnished for us to make the bricks for the building industry in Egypt, because they made brick houses, and Egypt had colonies all in Asia. So, we're gonna be probably making a lot of bricks. You see what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, we made the bricks. So we didn't build no pyramids, and then all the pyramids is on the west side of the Nile. We was on the east side of the Nile. Ramesses and those places gonna be on the east side of the Nile. That's where Heliopolis and all those places was. Matter of fact, probably the very hour that we went into slavery is gonna be the same time that this obelisk was constructed, because it was constructed in Heliopolis during the time that we was enslaved in Egypt, and it was around about the same exact time. This was erected in 1450 BC. We went into slavery in Egypt about that time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go into that too, hopefully. All right, shalom to the Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. All right, so we made bricks in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? We was, making bricks. And as you read down, it'll keep talking about those bricks. You know what I'm saying? And go forth now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the tale of bricks. You know what I'm saying? They made it so hard. You know, they probably had contracts where the folks hadn't got some food, and they had to make certain amount of bricks. That's why them bricks was ration. They had some old evil, wicked scheme going to where, you know what I'm saying, we was working for them. The same as what these systems come up with, all kind of ways to torment us, all kind of ways through work, through living, all kind of ways. Well, Egypt was the same with them. You know, as I showed, Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, so he gonna dog us out. You know, in the officers of the children of Israel, this is Exodus 5:19. And the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case, after it was said, ye shall not diminish aught from your bricks of your daily tasks. You see what I'm saying? So we making bricks to build them houses that them Egyptians, you know what I'm saying, had, you know, and bricks probably being sent to Asia because Egypt made sails. You know, I showed you in Ezekiel 27 verse 7 how, you know, we made the sails and all that stuff, you know, because Egypt gonna be making those products in our time too. You know, Egypt got a long history of dealing with Mesopotamia and Babylonia doing trade. You see what I'm saying? And also, while we was making them bricks to show you how evil old Pharaoh is, you know what I'm saying? Pharaoh said this, for since I come to you know what I'm saying? Moses said this, for since I come to Pharaoh to speak in thy name, he had done evil to this people. Neither hast thou delivered their people at all. You know what I'm saying? But when Prophet Moses went to the Creator, and man, he said, every time that I come to Pharaoh speak in your name, Pharaoh go hard on us and be even meaner and wicked to us. That's the same way that this society is. Since we've been in captivity here, not one single time throughout our enslavement, this 400 years, have these heathens, our oppressors, said, worship the Creator that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed to. You can't find that nowhere in no history where they done encouraged us to worship the Creator. See, they created this God's Son because the Babylonians, who we abandoned our heritage to, were Babylonian scribes responsible for Babylon's demigod history. You see what I'm saying? Responsible for Babylon's demigod history. Well, they created that New Testament history. You know, I keep trying to explain to you people about the people that we abandon our heritage to. But a lot of Hebrews ain't going to comprehend that. Some will, but the majority won't, and you kind of going to stay in a semi-sleepness. You know, we Hebrews, but you won't understand the fullness of the history and what we can understand, what we can come to understand about our oppressors. And I done reached that height to where I can tell you specifically the people that we abandon our heritage to and what they about and their capabilities. See what I'm saying? We abandon our heritage to some Babylonian scribes that's responsible for Babylon history and its God's history. Norjal and Murdoch. Some of y'all won't comprehend that. Some of y'all will. Well, the whole Western Hemisphere was developed by them after we abandoned our heritage, after we was tricked out of our heritage and abandoned our culture to those Babylonian scribes. Then the world history took on a whole nother different meaning. You know what I'm saying? And it basically ain't no truth in it, because the only truth that you're going to have is the Tanakh history and what happened during that time. And when we broke the covenant, man, it changed the whole world order and everything around. And some of you Hebrews will understand it, the majority won't. You know what I'm saying? So we abandon our heritage to the people that create the meaning of words. They can create a word and make a meaning for it. They can create a God's history in their sleep. You see, they've been doing it for thousands of years. You see what I'm saying? In the demigod history, that's their best history to create, because they ensnare people with that. You see what I'm saying? They entrap people with that and entrap their minds. That's like Egypt. Egypt want us worshiping they gods. You see what I'm saying? The Egyptians tried to steal our soul. You see what I'm saying? Pharaoh didn't want us to worship no creator. That's why come he didn't want to let us go. And the creator knew that Pharaoh would be, that his heart would be hardened and that he would be wicked, because Pharaoh practiced the same culture that the people practiced that broke the covenant. See what I'm saying? Them Amorites, the Egyptian and the Mesopotamian gods are basically the same. They just got different names, but they the same. You see what I'm saying? And Egypt is just like Babylon too. That's like they had that gay stuff in Babylon. They had that gay stuff in Egypt too. Egypt god Seth and Horus is gonna be gay. They're gonna be playing with semen, with sperm, with each other's sperm and stuff. And the Egyptians had depictions of gay folks on walls, and in this history with the Egyptians being gay. It's history with the Egyptians letting the women run society. Not saying that a woman shouldn't run anything, but the elevation that they have today now, and how they kind of like rule over the men, and how women is given preference in all kind of fields and stuff, and how they had, risen up and become, some powerful people. Where all that come from Egypt. All that come from Egypt and Babylon. You know what I'm saying? And the Egyptians was gay too. They did that old gay stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, it ain't nothing cool about claiming that you an Egyptian. That's the worst thing in the world us people that's in captivity can do, is claim an Egyptian heritage, because it's the same Egyptians heritage and culture that enslaved us, that caused us to lose, our covenant. So we can't never believe in these dudes. And when these dudes come with that Egyptian stuff, we should instantly back up. This should be the beginning of people backing up off them and that stuff. They should lose all their fame, because they trying to keep us in captivity and keep your soul and your mind in captivity by advocating anything Egyptian. You see what I'm saying? Because they was black or had pigmentation don't mean nothing. This people all around the world had pigmentation. You see what I'm saying? And all different degrees of pigmentation. So having some pigmentation ain't nothing. But because we was oppressed by these devils, these white folks, that some of these Hebrews take the pigmentation black to a whole nother level. You see what I'm saying? But it's about who you worship. You see what I'm saying? Even them devils, them white folks and them Chinese, and everybody got to worship the creator. So, that's going to have to take place one day. So, not to be knocking the other folks, but the creator knew who he chose, who wouldn't worship the idols when it's all said and done and we all punished and coming back in the heritage. We ain't gonna worship no idols no more. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be impossible after this captivity to ever get us on a demigod or worship any other kind of gods but the creator Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed to, because this is a lesson, we done learned going through this captivity. All right, the Egyptians didn't worship the creator. You know what I'm saying? The Egyptians didn't worship the creator, and as you read throughout Genesis, plenty time, Moses, asked, let me go pray to the creator of the Hebrews. And thou shalt say unto him, the Elohim Yah of the Hebrews had sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hereunto thou wouldest not hear. You see, Pharaoh would never hear. You know what I'm saying? If you look right here, and it says, then it's another one. All right. But as if, see, this would be Exodus 9. But as if thee and thy servants, I know that ye will not fear the Elohim Yah. He talking about, Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna fear the creator. All right. And Moses and Aaron came in unto Pharaoh and said unto him, thus saith the Elohim Yah of the Hebrews, how long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me, and let my people go, that they may serve me? You see what I'm saying? So we done already know that Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. You see what I'm saying? He didn't believe in the Creator. As stated right here. And Pharaoh said, who is the Elohim that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Elohim, neither will I let Israel go. See what I'm saying? So Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. All right. If you go to Genesis, now let's go to Genesis and set up the same groundwork. You know, this gonna be in the other videos, but it's something that you'll become familiar with. You know, if you go to Genesis 41. Genesis 41. Message from the Israelite Brotherhood. You ain't gonna learn this history from no camps. Because they teach Jewish history. This the Israelite Brotherhood. We don't teach no Jewish history. You know, we show the difference between Jewish history and Hebrew Israelite history. That's like that the Jews in the other myths got it out that the Hebrews build the pyramids. Well, in the Tanakh it told us that the Hebrews made the bricks. And then if they making bricks, they gonna be making bricks for the houses in the housing industry that Egypt had going on. You see what I'm saying? All right, this is how wicked Pharaoh tricked us. You see what I'm saying? From the beginning, when Prophet Joseph answered Pharaoh's dreams, and Pharaoh seen that his wicked magicians and his sorcerers couldn't answer his prayers, and they did similar trick things that Moses did, like when Moses threw down that snake, well, the Egyptians threw down that snake too. You see what I'm saying? Well, in this time, you know, in the beginning, when Joseph answered Pharaoh's dream, then Pharaoh knew who he was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? That it was something different, you know what I'm saying, about us. And Pharaoh, like I said, did trade with Mesopotamia. They probably already know that we're going to get that covenant because Melchizedek, you know, he was an Amorite priest. You know, he probably done told, you know, Abraham's adventures in the land, you know, because the prophet Abraham saved those Amorites, you know, because the people from Mesopotamia came and got up with them Canaanite Amorites with their gay stuff in Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? That's like I said, Egypt had that gay stuff too. You know what I'm saying? And they practiced that stuff too. They try to keep it on the down low and push the system on us, not revealing that the Egyptians was like that. That's something you got to go do some research. You see what I'm saying? Because they want us to embrace the Egyptian culture so we can forever stay doomed and damned. All right. Pharaoh gonna get Joseph Asenath. Asenath gonna be the priest of On's daughter. Now this is the same priest whose ancestors who people made this obelisk. You know what I'm saying? They had an obelisk up, and this obelisk called the Cleopatra Needle. It's in New York City. You know, that's why come when the Creator said we'll be taken to Egypt in ships. Sure enough, this is the Egypt, because that obelisk, and they even got that bull in New York too. You know what I'm saying, on Wall Street. But they got this obelisk. They got this obelisk that was erected in 1450 BC, the same time that we went into bondage in Egypt. Not before, not no years before, or no years after. This could have been the same month, the same week. But this obelisk, we would have seen right here. We would have seen in Egypt when we was in captivity there making bricks for Pharaoh for the housing industry. You see what I'm saying? We'd have been seeing that obelisk right there. Moses would have seen that. You see what I'm saying? So we would have seen that soon as we went into captivity. All right, that old wicked Necho right there. He's in New York too. Necho the second gonna be the king that killed King Josiah after he cleaned the Egyptian religion up. See, he cleaned the Egyptian religion up, and we was on the Egyptian religion for about 300 years. From 931 BC, when Jeroboam brung it out of Egypt after Solomon's death, he brung 2 golden calves that symbolized that horse, Seth, and then about 3-4 religions is tied in it. That's just the symbol of it. And you know what I'm saying? That's like how Christianity got a symbol, but they got so many different fractions of it. You know what I'm saying? Other religion Well, that cow represent about 5 religions. And that's the queen of heaven right there. That's that evil witch that we went to Egypt to worship, breaking the covenant during the Babylonian wars. And we never returned home after that. I'm going to show that how we even lied to the creator. Man, we got a horrible history. But our history going to basically be us being tricked by the other people cultures, even if they got pigmentation. It's like the Egyptians got pigmentation, but they didn't worship the creator. They didn't worship the creator, as I've shown that Pharaoh did not worship the creator. You know, I showed that Exodus 5, Pharaoh did not worship the creator. So, you know, when somebody say, believe in the Egyptians and believe in their gods and all that, all you got to do is pick up your Bible. Exodus 5, chapter 5, verse 2, and show them. And Pharaoh said, who is the Elohim that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Elohim, neither will I let Israel go. Man, that's deep right there. You can't never worship nothing that got to do with the Egyptian culture, because the Egyptians didn't believe in the creator. And this Pharaoh was just like the rest of them. They had a land of wicked pharaohs, and all of them was, you know, wicked, you know, from the time of Joseph's death on. You see what I'm saying? They didn't believe in the creator. And Pharaoh didn't want to let us go to worship no creator either, the God of the Hebrews. Man, that pissed Pharaoh off. He even told them folks don't even help us with the straw no more, and they still got to make bricks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we can't be fooling with no Egypt. And look, the old wicked Pharaoh gave Joseph Asenath. Asenath gonna be the priest of On's daughter, and the priest of On is the priest of Heliopolis. That's the Egyptian main spot. Matter of fact, that's the oldest spot where the Egyptians, you know, did their worship. That's their OG spot. And when people say, oh, they can't find no Israelite relics in Egypt, well, we did what the Egyptians did when we was there. So how you gonna find something different than Egypt when we worship the Egyptian culture and did what the Egyptians did until the time that Moses came and the creator seen our affliction and we came out to worship the creator, because we still remember the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm sure that, you know, Jacob's sons taught his kids about their granddaddy and great granddaddy worshiping the creator plenty times. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it wouldn't been hard for us to take back to our original roots and abandon that Egyptian culture. You know what I'm saying? As we did leaving Egypt. You know, we were supposed to be a new culture to the earth. We were supposed to be a new culture, the whole earth, from South America to North America, the natives, all in Africa, in Europe, Asia, and even the islands. They worship idols, symbols, and representation of the creator through idols and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Wooden statues, stone statues, wooden statues. You see what I'm saying? So they would take an earthly element and make a god out of it and say, this is the representation of God, and this is how you go through that God, no matter what kind of attributes that they created for that wooden or stone object. Well, the world was full of that stuff till we got the culture from the creator, from Moses, and that was supposed to be a new culture that was supposed to extinguish all the other culture, because you see how everybody like to do what we do. You see how we got rap music, from the blues all the way to rap. Everybody been emulating us, trying to be like us, imitating us, and trying to be like us in the dance and everything. See, that's another reason why they have to keep us wicked and on that Egyptian culture, because if we start following the creator, then everybody in the world gonna be forced to do the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So it's a game going on. So we can't let these dudes trick us out of our heritage. I know some of y'all want to believe in a good message that a black man standing up strong against the system is talking about. You know, they make you feel good because he's a young black man. He ain't out robbing. He ain't out killing. And he's standing up against the system. Guess what? He ain't standing up against the system. It's so sinister in our day and time. He helping the system. Both of them, young Pharaoh, sounded like a toy. How about us following the Egyptian system is what destroyed us? And I'm going to show that again, and I'm going to keep showing it. Check this out, Hebrews. Joseph was given Asenath, the priest of On daughter. All right, you know what I'm saying? They have two sons. You know what I'm saying? If you get to Genesis 41, 45, Joseph is given Asenath. You get to Genesis 41, 50, and 51, you'll see that Joseph had two sons. And unto Joseph were born two sons before the years of famine came, which Anaset, the daughter of Paparay, priest of On, bore unto him, knowing that he the priest. You know what I'm saying? The head boss of the Egyptian religion system. You see, that's like soon as a Hebrew male got talent and can do something and make a change, they get him to somebody else. You see what I'm saying? They get him to somebody else and hoping to ruin his mission and what we have to accomplish. You know, they do that right now. They'll pair you up with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And all your wealth and your resources are supposed to go and enrich them after your demise. All right. Genesis 41, 51. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for Yah said he had made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Man, the Egyptians was rewarding Joseph with all kind of riches that he almost forgot. You know what I'm saying? Where he was from. You know, so that's awful. Fooling with the Egyptian culture. All right, we know that Joseph is given Asenath. You know what I'm saying? And those two sons born with him. And we know when Joseph out taking care of the business that the granddaddy gonna be putting his everything down on Joseph's sons. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how the granddaddy try to say, well, your daddy ain't right, and this is the way it go. And you know, trying to be the influence because he gonna be the older patriarch, and the kids gonna look up to their granddaddy. So he gonna teach them about that Egyptian stuff. You know, especially probably the tribe of Ephraim, because like I say, the tribe of Ephraim descended, worship the Egyptian religion, Jeroboam. You know, and the tribe of Ephraim controlled the northern kingdom. They was in control of the northern kingdom. They was the most active tribe throughout the whole Tanakh, besides the tribe of Judah. You're going to see the tribe of Ephraim name mentioned all the time. All right, now, if you go to Exodus 32, and it says, all right, Exodus 32, this is going to be when Prophet Moses go up. You know, a mixed multitude Exodus with us. Let me show that too. All right, this is, you know what I'm saying, you go to Exodus 13, Exodus 13, Exodus 12, verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. You know, so, you know, some Egyptians going to be none left with us. 9 out of 10, that's going to be Ephraim, them kin and relatives, the Mishwish folks from the Shahar, the real founders of the Egyptian culture. They going to be none left with us. And when Moses go up to get the new culture, the covenant, the new culture that wasn't like the Ammonite, Amorite, Canaanite culture or Egyptian culture, that, you know, them people that was with us, you know, influenced us and, you know, made us go up with the golden calves, you know, and it says this. This is Exodus 32. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we know not what happened or what become of him. You know what I'm saying? And Aaron got their little gold and fashioned, and he received at their hands and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it molten calf, and said, these be the gods of Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. You see what I'm saying? So we were slipping right there. Pharaoh giving Joseph Asenath, and then them Egyptians leaving with us, and then we go up with the golden calf soon as Moses, the leader, gone. You see what I'm saying? They said now downfall right there. Because like I said, if we doing the covenant right there in the promised land, Egypt cannot come across. That's the death of Egypt. That's the death of Egypt, and basically almost the death of all the fake gods in that region. You see what I'm saying? Because we was going to get rid of the Canaanites. We would have got rid of the Canaanites and they fake idol worshiping, gay worshiping culture. Then them Egyptians, all we had to do was just don't let them come across the promised land. That would have been the death of Egypt, because Egypt couldn't do no trade. Them folks would have folded up. They would have folded up. See what I'm saying? But that didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? Them folks tricked us. All right. The Egyptians, leave with us. All right. Now let's go to Solomon, because we had from Joshua's death, 1375 to around about 1100 BC. We had all kind of troubles. Then King David, King Samuel the priest come on. Then Saul, then King David. And then King David died around about 970 BC. Solomon come on. And Solomon tried to get up with this brother named Jeroboam from the tribe of Ephraim. You see what I'm saying? He was from the tribe of Ephraim. That's going to be Joseph's son descendants. If you go to 1 Kings 20, that's going to be 1 Kings 12. All right. 1 Kings 12. And it says, let's show that Jeroboam was from the tribe of Ephraim. This is going to be 1 Kings 11:26. And Jeroboam the son of Nebat, an Ephraite of Zerudah, Solomon's servant, whose mother name was Zerudah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. All right, and Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shoshan, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt unto the death of Solomon. And we know that them Egyptians come out and got up with Rehoboam for Jeroboam, and that was helping him. Them Egyptians was his king, especially the king. You know what I'm saying? Because the tribe of Ephraim was born. Grandfather was the priest back in the day, so Jeroboam gonna have some mean pull with the Egyptians, and as can be seen, the Egyptians came out and they got up with Rehoboam, and Jeroboam established 2 golden calves that Egyptian worship on us. See what I'm saying? So Pharaoh, working his thing from back in the days, is bearing the fruit now. The seed he planted is bearing the fruit now. You see what I'm saying? That mixed multitude giving Joseph that Egyptian woman. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, Pharaoh didn't believe in the creator. The whole Egyptian system didn't believe in the creator. All right. And they even told Moses that he can go pray in front of that we can worship in front of the Egyptians. And Moses said, man, the Egyptians going to stone us. Man, if we worship in front of the Egyptians, let us go 3 days journey away from Egypt to worship the creator of the Hebrews. You see what I'm saying? And Pharaoh said, nah. All right, check this out. All right, Jeroboam. All right, this is 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 28. Wherefore the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. See, that's our downfall. Everything got to do with Egypt is a downfall and a loss. No plus. No plus. It's a minus. It's a minus. It's a minus. A takeaway. You see what I'm saying? We ain't achieved nothing by claiming an Egyptian heritage. Matter of fact, it's so funny that, the other folks control Egypt and you can't even go over there to see nothing but what they show. But we got people in the promised land. Got their own little spot. You see what I'm saying? And ain't nobody bothering them. You see what I'm saying? So, no, we can't worship nothing to do with no Egypt. We'd be some fools to be doing that. All right. So, Jeroboam brought that Egyptian stuff out. This is going to be in 931 BC. It stayed on us for 300 years, all the way to 631 BC when King Josiah cleaned it up. You see what I'm saying? So, Man, it's awful fooling with anything Egypt. And then if you go to Second Chronicles 13, you'll see that Egyptian stuff was on us. You know what I'm saying? It was on the northern kingdom. All right, Second Chronicles 13. Let's see. All right. And now ye think to withstand the kingdom of the Elohim in the hand of the sons of David, and ye be a great multitude, and there are with you golden calves which Jeroboam made for you. You know, like I said, this stuff stayed on us all the way up to King Josiah, cleaned it up. Man, around about 631 BC, he started to clean it up, and King Josiah had all the tribes. You know, this is a chart killer too, when them folks be trying to come with that old crazy chart saying that everybody Hebrews that didn't go through the transatlantic slave trade, all you got to do is read Chronicles, Second Chronicles chapter 30 under King Hezekiah, and then you'll see that he said we escaped the Assyrians. You know what I'm saying? I got videos explaining all this, how it wasn't no 10 lost tribes, and how those are myths that was created by the Jews, the people who we abandoned our heritage to. All right, if you read the history of King Josiah, you will see that everybody's still there, and then you will see the Hezekiah, the priest, prophet Jeremiah, father, find the book, and he, you know, get the book to the king, and then the king, you know, he cleaned up the land before he even found the covenant contract, and you know, fulfilling the prophecies that was prophets King Josiah did. And soon as he cleaned the Egyptian worship up, you know, the whole Israel, you know, and it'll tell you that the whole Israel was there. The tribes that's not mentioned during King Josiah time in Second Chronicles chapter 30, King Hezekiah time, 715 BC, gonna be mentioned during King Josiah time. All right, and then as you read, you know, the Egyptians killed King Josiah, and then the Babylonian troubles will start because, you know, the Egyptians would put one of the relatives on the throne, King Josiah, relatives on the throne that would go back to Egyptian worship. And then we were running to Africa because the Creator just had enough. He said it was over with. It's time for y'all to get shut down. See what I'm saying? Chase y'all off the land forever until, you know, our punishment was over. And that's going to be chapter 44. You know, immediately after King Josiah was killed by the Egyptians, you know, they put us, you know, the relatives on the throne, and this is what we see it going into Africa, because the Babylonians had chased us off the land. If you go to Second Kings chapter 25, verse 26, all praise be Almighty, y'all turn right to it. All right, this is during the Babylonian wars. You know, the Chaldeans wasn't nothing but Ashkenazi. You know, Ashkenazi made up the Chaldean army. This is when Ashkenazi come into the picture during the Babylonian wars. The Sephardic Jews come into the picture during the Assyrian wars. You see, each time we had a war, a group of people that would take our heritage was placed in our land. You see what I'm saying? And the Chaldeans had Scythians with them. Scythian is the code name for Ashkenazi. Scythian is the code name for Ashkenazi. Scythian is the code name for Ashkenazi. And I'm going to show that. Yeah, Scythian is the code name for Ashkenazi. Oh, man, I got so many papers. Oh, man, this is awful. Yeah. Scythian and Ashkenazi gonna be the same people. Scythian and Ashkenazi gonna be the same people. You know, that's like when them brothers be saying, the Khazars is this, and the Khazars is where the Jews come from. It's the Khazars. No, the Khazars came later. The Khazars came in 600 something AD, and the lights went out around by 960 AD. Well, the Ashkenazi Jews who control everything today, been in our heritage since the Babylonian wars. And Ashkenazi code name in history is Scythian, and they'll tell you themselves. And if you read the Babylonian history, when the Babylonians destroyed Assyria, you'll see the Ashkenazi made up the Chaldean army. Well, those same Ashkenazi Chaldeans would chase us into Africa because we said we wanted to do the Egyptian religion. You see what I'm saying? And this Ashkenazi coming into our heritage in 588 BC are during the Babylonian Wars. And the Sephardi Jews gonna come in our land. Now the Sephardi Jews' name is Sepharvim. Sepharvim is where the scribes was from. Sipper and Nipper. If you look up Sipper and Nipper history, you're gonna see that those are the people that kept the history for the whole Babylonian Empire, Sumer, Akkad, everything. They're responsible for all the history, all the documented history in Babylon. The governments, the administrations, they've been setting up governments and administrations for thousands of years. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this government and this system being set up was nothing to them. It was like taking candy from a baby when they got this land from the natives, all right, who worship animals, all right. This is in 722 BC. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cuddar and from Ava and from Hamath and from Sepharvim and placed them in the city of Samaria and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And as you read, it'll show you how they was doing our culture. You know, so they feared the Elohim and made unto themselves the lowest of the priests of the high places who sacrifice for them in the high places, you know, and they feared the Elohim and served their own gods. You know what I'm saying? So they was following our culture and stuff. And as you get down to 41, you know what I'm saying? It says, so these nations feared the Elohim and served their graven images, both their children's unto this day. And that can be seen in their religion, Judaism. You know, it's a combination of their old tradition, their Babylonian tradition, mixed in with our culture. Coming from the Torah and the laws that Moses gave us, because we abandoned our heritage to them in 722 BC. They had a 134-year head start on Ashkenazi. When Ashkenazi come into the land and probably seen some of them left, you know, that's when they start having their little proxy wars with each other. That's how all the religions was created. But Ashkenazi or the Chaldeans chase us into Africa because we said this. You know, during the Babylonian Wars, after they killed King Josiah. You know, this is Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 15, 16, 17, and 18 was a state of mind. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Petros, answered Jeremiah, saying, as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Elohim, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do so whatever thing go forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our kings, our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of food and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. So these dudes is crazy. These dudes is ultimately wicked for trying to get us or push us in the Egyptian way, knowing that Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, as I showed. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh hated the Creator. He didn't believe in the Creator. You know what I'm saying? That's why Pharaoh said this. You know, who is the Creator that you want, me to let the children of Israel go worship? Because he didn't know the Creator. And Pharaoh said, who is the Elohim that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Elohim, nor will I let Israel go. So Pharaoh didn't know the Creator. You see what I'm saying? He didn't know the Creator, and Pharaoh hated the Creator. And he didn't want us to let us go. You know, Pharaoh gonna be making some money off them bricks we making and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the same as these folks. They ain't trying to let us go. All right. So we know that the tribe of Ephraim was connected to the Egyptians, and that the Egyptians are responsible for destroying our heritage. You know, and Egypt messed us up. And anybody that's trying to claim an Egyptian heritage is stone crazy, especially if you descended from the transatlantic slave trade. You will be a stone fool to worship anything that got to do with the Egyptians. You see how the pyramid's gonna be all on this side. The pyramid's gonna be all on this side, and we're gonna be on this side making the bricks on the Nubian, Ethiopian side. You see what I'm saying? We're gonna be on this side doing the work, being the slaves. And that's gonna be the people that basically come into power after these folks lost their power in Joseph's time and Pharaoh died, and it come a Pharaoh that didn't know Joseph. He gonna be on this side, and them folks, and I can show in the last days how the people from Ethiopia, them Enoches and all those folks played a part in our destruction, because we needed gold to pay the Babylonians off. You know, we got a book called The Hidden History of the Hebrew Israelites on eBay, and you know, that book is doing pretty good, and you know, we sell it to basically buy ink and paper and get the message out. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you know, Hebrews got a time, you know, and a little money, you know what I'm saying, it's worth it. Whereas you would go buy 50 books trying to get an understanding of the history. You could just buy this one book and it's going to explain everything, you know. But it was the Egyptian culture that destroyed us. You know, like I said, us coming out of the Egypt, you know, from a culture that was thousands of years old, and then we getting that law, that new culture from Moses. It was to get rid of those cultures around us, because we didn't worship no creator through no images and through no idols and stuff, and through no animals as the Egyptians and the other people do. They'll try to say, well, that don't mean that that's a god, that mean that this, but all that is in relation to they false god. You see, because the Egyptians want to steal your soul, and this is how they want to keep our soul stolen, by having us follow the Egyptian tradition and culture and stuff. And we will stay enslaved if somebody don't wake up and show the Hebrews the way out of that mess. You see what I'm saying? Because we know Pharaoh didn't worship the creator and didn't believe in the creator, so you would be a fool to worship the Egyptian or follow their culture knowing that they didn't believe in the creator. What kind of person is you, knowing that all them curses done come to pass that Prophet Moses said? You know, and Prophet Moses said this. If you go to Deuteronomy 28, turn right to it, verse 68, and the Elohim said, and the Elohim shall bring thee into Egypt again with ship, by whereof I spake unto thee, and thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondwoman and bondman, and nobody shall buy you. And it's a known fact that nobody bring no gold to try to redeem us. Did nobody bring no gold to try to say, hey, let these people go, let this ethnic group go and take this gold or take this land. You see what I'm saying? We didn't get redeemed from our hardships. We had to go through slavery, like the curses said. And, you know, the curses called for our heritage to be blotted out. So it ain't no Hebrew fault that they don't know the heritage all the way. But, you know, in a sense it is, because we got, you know, materials that, you know, that is accessible, like the internet, and anybody can read. You know, the Israelite Brotherhood got about 80,000 hours of continuous research in debate and chat rooms dealing with the rabbis and the Jews. You know, I even got letters from Jews. You know what I'm saying? So I know this history and stuff. And, you know, they know I know the history. But you Hebrews need to wake up to the history. We can't be worshiping nothing that got to do with no Egypt. Nothing that got to do with Egypt. Because it was the Egyptian culture that doomed us. We told the prophet Jeremiah that man, we didn't want nothing to do with the covenant no more. And that the reason that we was having the trouble was because we wasn't doing the Egyptian religion. You see what I'm saying? So that caused our downfall right there. And then the brothers and sisters during the Babylonian War, you know, the millions went into Africa, and it was like a 1% that was taken to Babylon that made it home during during the Persians' defeat of Babylon. You know, the Persians knocked the Babylonians out because the Babylonians held Egypt all the way to Babylon for 50 years, from 588 BC to 538 BC, when the Persians whooped the Babylonians. And then, you know, they allowed the exiles to come home. And that would be the book of Ezra, Zechariah, Nehemiah, Haggai, Zechariah. From 538 BC to 430 BC. The book of Malachi gonna be the last book. And he, you know, if you read them books, you're gonna see the Queen of Heaven worshipers that caused the Babylonian captivity, that went into Africa to fool with the Egyptian religions, where we were being enslaved from Africa, never made it back home to be reunited with them. And then I got history showing that the Greek kings, the Ptolemies, I'm gonna start going into their history. The Ptolemies and the, you know what I'm saying, the Ptolemies and the Lichamis and the Ptolemies was claiming Israelite heritage, and they invited the Edomite Jews from the that was in the Promised Land, that took over the land during the Babylonian times while we was gone. You know, I could show about 50 nations of people living in the Promised Land. And that's another thing. Let me try to squeeze this in. I might have enough time to show that there wasn't no 10 lost tribes too, you know. But the exiles come back from Babylon. Israel can be seen and mentioned among the exiles from Babylon, where they sin so bad that the Greeks quietly destroyed them within the 80-year, 98-year span, almost 100 years. You know, it knocked them off so fast that it didn't leave no trace in history. And the Babylonian scribes that was recording the history, that immediately recorded the history after the exiles was gone, then they didn't record the exiles get knocked off, and then they spliced their history in, and then they start, you know, creating genealogies after that. I got a whole bunch of history with different Jews at different times taking the genealogy from the temple and adding their name and adding their family name and creating priests and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's like John Heineke's, you know, in 130 BC converted all Edom to the Jewish religion, that by time Herd was born in 20 BC, they was all Edomites. You know, Herd built that temple. He didn't refurbish no temple. He built that temple from the ground up. You know, Herd built that temple from the ground up. You know, he took the old one down and built him a brand spanking new one. Not refurbished, but a brand spanking new one. And that's the one that Jesus prayed in and called his daddy house. That's messed up. That's messed up. You know, it was a bunch of Jesus. Jesus being Anath, Jesus being Shadrach, Jesus being Gamaliel, Jesus being Stoddard. You know what I'm saying? Jesus being Stoddard gonna be in the Talmud. You know, that's gonna probably be the most accurate one, because the Jews that's around now are the ones that's kin to the folks in the New Testament. And let me show, man, there was so many people living in the Promised Land when the exiles came back from Babylon. You know, the land was occupied, you know, for 50 years. It was empty of Hebrews for 50 years. There wasn't no Hebrews in it. Not one Hebrew was in the Promised Land when we ran into Africa, and the other ones was taken, less than 1% was taken to Babylon. And if you go to Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 2, and it says, "In the Elohim of hosts, the Yah of Israel, ye have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem and upon all the cities of Judah, and behold, this day they are a desolation, and no man dwelleth therein." No man dwelleth therein. It was empty. The millions in Africa and that 1% in Babylon. And when they come back from Babylon, they didn't record us coming back out. The ones who said that we was going in there to worship the Queen of Heaven. You know, the Egyptian religion that doomed us because the Egyptians killed King Josiah. All right, if you go to show you what no 10 lost tribes real quick, if I can get that in. So everybody went into Africa. Everybody went into Africa. All right. This 2 Chronicles 30. All right, this is dealing with Hezekiah. This is 715 BC. This is 7 years after those Sephardi Jews was placed in our land, the Sephardims, you know. All right, and King Hezekiah sent to all Israel and Judah and wrote letters unto Ephraim and Manasseh that they should come unto the house of the Elohim at Jerusalem to keep the Passover unto the Elohim Yah of Israel. For the king had taken counsel and his princes and all the congregation of Jerusalem to keep the Passover in the 2nd month, for they could not keep it at the time because the priests had not sanctified themselves sufficiently, neither had the people gathered themselves together at Jerusalem. And this thing pleased the king, you know, so he sent a decree and it went around to everybody, the whole kingdom. So the post went with the letters from the king and his princes throughout all Israel and Judah, according to the commandment of the king, saying, Ye children, turn again unto the Elohim Yah of Abraham and Isaac and Israel, and he will return to the remnant of you that are escaped out of the hands of the king of Assyria. So who all escaped the Syrians? All right, and then as you read down, it'll tell you, nevertheless, you know what I'm saying, this is in verse 10. 30 verse 10, 2nd Chronicles. So the post passed from city to city throughout all Ephraim and Manasseh, even unto Zebulun, but they laughed them to scorn. So them folks still there. Nevertheless, the verse of Asher, Manasseh, and Zebulun humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem. You know, so they still there. And then as you read, you know what I'm saying, you get down to verse 18, you know what I'm saying, for a multitude of the people, even Manasseh and Ephraim and Ishkar and Zebulun had not cleansed themselves, you know, so they still there. And also those Sephardi Jews, the people who inherited our heritage when we was tricked into Africa by the Egyptians, they was at the Passover too, you know. And this is 715 BC, and all the congregation of Judah. This is 2nd Chronicles chapter 30 verse 25. And all the congregation of Judah and all the priests and the Levites and all the congregation that come out of Israel and the strangers that come out of the land of Israel that dwelled in Judah. The strangers gonna be those Sephardi Jews. See what I'm saying? See, they didn't go into Africa with us, so they still there. And then all that's not mentioned during King Hezekiah time gonna be mentioned during his grandson, you know what I'm saying, time, King Josiah. See, and then this is in 640 BC. This is 2nd Chronicles chapter 30. All right. And so did he in the cities of Manasseh, Ephraim, Simon, even unto Naphtali, with their mattocks round about. So all the tribes is there. And if they down and around in King Josiah's time, the next event will be the Babylonian Wars. And as you read 2nd Chronicles 34, you will see he cleaned the whole Israel up. The whole Israel got rid of that Egyptian religion. And even them Amorite Sephardi Jews had to kick back and follow and do what he said. And then the Egyptians killed him. It's like they was working together, because the Egyptians killed King Josiah, and then them people, after we went into Africa, got our heritage, and they been had it all the way to the day. And we just now waking up to see what's going on. You know, this the Israelite Brotherhood. Them other people ain't gonna show you nothing about the Queen of Heaven, and that we went into Africa to worship the Egyptian religion, the Queen of Heaven religions. You see what I'm saying? Them other organizations ain't gonna teach you this, and they ain't gonna mention this because they don't know nothing about this. You see what I'm saying? And then they'll come try to take credit for it later on, but y'all gonna know the Israelite Brotherhood brought this message first. You see what I'm saying? Israel been Israel for the Israelite Brotherhood. And this the dude that killed King Josiah. They got him in New York, right where that obelisk said that we went into slavery in Egypt. You see what I'm saying? So we into Egypt, and then they even got that cow up there on Wall Street. You see what I'm saying? That big old bull. So all the symbols and the people and the chemistry to make this Egypt is here. And Egypt is what caused us to get enslaved. So you'll be a fool to be listening to these folks. And people need to get this video and spread it around and subscribe. Tell your people to subscribe. If you know some Hebrews, tell them to subscribe to this channel, so you know that they can learn some history. This ain't costing you nothing. You see what I'm saying? But if you listen to them other folks, it's gonna cost you something. It's gonna cost you your life, maybe. You see what I'm saying? If you listening to young Pharaoh and Sue and Seti, it might cost you your life listening to them, because they teaching you about a God or a culture that didn't love the Creator and didn't have no respect for the Hebrews. We are the Hebrews, because how some Egyptians gonna be up under some Israelite curses? How did the Egyptians get up under some Israelite curses? Impossible. They didn't break the covenant. And then when it spoke of Egypt being enslaved, some of them, well, them Arabs come and took them to Arabia and to points east, a land they was familiar with. And I'm sure that some of them done found their way back home. Them probably the folks that's running Egypt now today done came back home, even though they done lighten up and done changed another color. You see what I'm saying? From being in them lands since back then. So some of their relatives gonna be done made it back home. It's us that's still in captivity. You see what I'm saying? And we in captivity for fooling with the Egyptian religion. You can't listen to them dudes. Them dudes is getting paid off YouTube and other places. They making some big money and stuff. And then they trying to get y'all to stay in a semi-mental slavery. You see what I'm saying? Because if you follow the Egyptian culture and religion, you in the mental slavery. You in the mental slavery, and you might not get out of that, because you're going to think that the Egyptian culture is cool and all right and what we're supposed to be doing. Black power, and all that old bull crap. It wasn't black power that, it was black power that got us enslaved. The Egyptians had the black power, and they caused our enslavement. So we can't be fooling with no Egypt, and no matter how slick these niggas, these Negroes sound, with their science, you know, they gonna have some slick science, and it's gonna sound good to the ears. It's gonna sound real good to the ears, but that's your trap. You in the trap. See what I'm saying? This is straight up the history that I'm showing. You can see clearly in the Tanakh. See what I'm saying? We the Hebrews, and I feel like it's my duty to wake all the Hebrews up to what's going on. Ain't no Hebrews been able to challenge these dudes, because they've been dealing with the camps who teach Jewish history and Jewish myths, like 10 lost tribes, or that the Hebrews ran into Africa because her Edomite temple was destroyed. All that's false history. You know, a sample of the population of the New Testament was taken. You know, the New Testament was wrote 187,000 days after the Tanakh closed. After Malachi finished writing his book, 187,000 days went by, 500 years, and then they come with that God's son mess, trying to use the prophecies that was for King Josiah, cause you know he got anointed. If he was a king, you know he rode on a donkey or a mule back then. You know what I'm saying? You know, when them Egyptians killed him, they gonna shoot him in his side, his hands, his feet, everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So they be taking a song from King David time, when he was expressing his grief and using words to express that. They done took that and made a demigod out of it. You know what I'm saying? And a demigod is gonna be any entity that's born by a woman miraculously. You see what I'm saying? And in that New Testament mess, it tells you plainly that Mary was impregnated by the Holy Ghost, but before Joseph came with us. You know, and Prophet Isaiah say that bright morning star was around, you know, Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? So it's a possibility that the devil got up with Mary, because those angelic beings came down and made it with the people way before the Creator destroyed, you know, the earth and saved Noah and his family and stuff. So, you know, we know that can happen, you know, and that probably happened again with old Mary. You know, old Lucifer came down and got him son. You know what I'm saying? He probably had, you know, big booty Mary. You know what I'm saying? Old devil got him son. That's all it is. And old Jesus come about. You know what I'm saying? Jesus been Jesus been started, but it was a bunch of Jesus, Hebrews. I'm just making fun of that demigod stuff. We know that stuff ain't real, and that the Creator don't need no God's son to do nothing that he told Moses that was going to be done already. You see what I'm saying? All right. So we know that the Hebrews wasn't in the New Testament, and that the Greeks got rid of the exiles because a sample of the population was taken to Armenia, In 55 BC, it's this Armenian king named Tigrinus. Tigrinus took thousands, over probably 20,000 people from the promised land, and he didn't just grab random, you know what I'm saying? He just randomly grabbed folks. He didn't just take, well, I'm going to just take all the white ones and leave all the black ones. No, he took 20,000 Jews from the promised land and took them to Armenia, and they developed a culture in Armenia, and their descendants can be seen today. Not one of them was black. Not one of them was black. So where y'all getting this talking about in Revelations, talking about that heard Jesus said, those are the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not. You people plumb crazy, and Ashkenazi and the Sephardi groups been having a good time off y'all ignorance. That's talking about how Ashkenazi, the Scythians in the Discopolis, in the head city was Scythopolis, had 300 some synagogues in the promised land, and they had about 200 of them wrapped around her Edomite temple. They real quiet about that, how all them synagogues was in the land. That's because those Ashkenazi Jews were starting to come into who they are. You see what I'm saying? They were starting to get books. It took them a while. You know, both groups been having proxy wars. The Sephardi groups and the Ashkenazi groups been fighting each other for a long time over control of our heritage that we abandoned during the Babylonian wars. Alright, this is Israel, been Israel for the Israelite Brotherhood. Like I said, Hebrews, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Let me get some of this subscription up. You know what I'm saying? I want to see who all down with me. You know what I'm saying? I know it take a little while, but you Hebrews need to pass this message around so we can, you know, start coming together and have a somewhat of a central understanding and stuff. And the only understanding we're going to get is from the Tanakh, even though they done translated a whole bunch of times. But the history is basically the same. You see what I'm saying? And it explained how we broke the covenant. You know, even though they're coming up with these new versions, trying to change the history around. You know, but we can't be following these dudes. These dudes, super wicked. Super wicked. And dude sound like a toy. Toy dude. Ain't follow them Egyptians, Hebrews. Y'all follow them Egyptians. You going down in these last days. They putting all work out trying to get you to follow that mess.